And to have with us today Antonino Giannone. First of all, sorry Pasquale, but with Antonino we have a long journey together, a long path. Now we were trying to count the years. It's better to forget. Are almost 20 now. And Mr. Pasquale Borriello. Today the topic is quite challenging. So artificial intelligence and business change, industrial and social implications. Why we are talking about that? Because AI, as we will see in a while, even if you are thinking to a company, is not just technology. We have always to take into account that humans must be put in the center of the process, of the project, of the society. So AI is just a tool. For you, I mean, the students that are following that course, you know from the first slide, AI is just one of the other tools that we have. But why I'm starting to say that? Because with Antonino, we started that journey almost 20 years ago, before that AI exploded, as you can see now. We started from the strategic decisions in companies with the course of strategic management. And there, Antonino had the idea to put inside the not just in the title, but inside the entire course, the topics of ethics and leadership. Then that course, when he retired, was given to me. I continued with that. And from there, we continued with all the activities that we are doing together, trying to put always people, humans, inside the process, whatever is the process. Because ethics is not just something that is high in the sky, something for philosophers. Is what we do every day and how we do every day. And moreover, why we do every day. So why we do AI, why we do innovation. Just for us, or to leave something after us. I always remember the definition of sustainability that was given in the 70s by United Nations. You must be able to do what you need without using the resources of the future generations, because you cannot, you are unable to know what they need. So this is much more difficult, because you must think to what, not what they will do, but you must leave on the earth something such that they can do what they need, what they will think they will need. It's quite difficult, in particular, when you will become father and mothers. I mean, because you tend to oversight, let's say, no? And it's exactly the same idea. You must satisfy your needs using the resources that you need without pretending to know what will be needed by future generations. Okay, so for that reason, for that long journey together, you know that between the other things, I'm also the director of a research center here in Politecnico di Torino called ICE, ICT for City Logistics and Enterprises. And Antonino was with us for a long time. So we decided to give him officially the fellowship to the center. And the reason is the following: in recognition of his distinguished contribution to the ethical and strategic discourse on artificial intelligence and management, Antonino Giannone is hereby awarded the title of Fellow of ICELab Center of Politecnico di Torino. His sustained commitment to fostering a human-centered approach to digital transformation, expressed through public engagement, academic teaching, and intellectual leadership, embodies the mission and the values of ICELab. This fellowship attests to his enduring impact on ethical innovation, particularly in guiding younger generations toward the responsible and value-driven use of artificial intelligence. Thank you, Antonino.
I'm very fast. My lesson in Politecnico of Turin is the second house for me. I'm here, my wife in first five, and I hope for you a long time for your success in professional engineer. Today, I speak with you about ethics in AI generation. Last year, I did 40 events in Italy, in foundation, in university, in political institution, in Camera dei Deputati e in Senato, no? And with my friend now, Guido Perboli, I hope in the future it's possible a new lesson, but I think no.
No, I think yes. I mean, today, the former rector of Politecnico di Torino is not here, Guido Saracco, because I mean, being named Guido, so I can say what he should say now, because I mean, he was present at, I don't know, 6, 7 classes, 7 different workshops and classes of Antonino. Every time he was saying that will be the last one. At certain point, the last time he said yes. I mean, it's the 5th time that you are saying that is the last one. Is the last one of that academic year? Yes, actually, the academic year, from the point of view of the classes, will stop that week, as you know. So it's correct. So for sure it will be, but it will be our pleasure to have you with us next academic year. Okay, thank you. The record. Now, let's start with let's say, with the real event, in the sense of the main event. So the 2 speeches by Pasquale Borriello and Antonino Giannone. Let's start with Mr. Pasquale Borriello, who is the CEO of Arkage, which is Italy's first post-digital agency. He's also co-founder of the Italian CXPA network, where he serves as part of the leadership team, and the CEO of acquisition team and member of the Art Attack group. He's a frequent speaker at conferences and workshops, teaches marketing and artificial intelligence courses for organizations including Federlegna Arredo, Treccani Academy, and W Academy. And he's also a member of ENIA, the National Agency for AI. So we have something in common, and participates in international AI working groups such as the Content Authenticity Initiative, C2PA, and the AI for Good neural network. He has a degree in theoretical computer science from Roma Tre University. So I'm sorry for the engineers, but he's a competitor. Studies in philosophy and mathematics at La Sapienza universities, and specialization in marketing from the Rotman School of Management in Toronto. Father of 5 and married to Alessandra, he is constantly preparing himself for the challenges of the future and believes in AI for good. And in particular, he believes that he doesn't need to sleep, because with 5 kids, I mean, with 5 kids, okay. So, thank you. Aspettate, rompo la condivisione, metto l'altro. Allora, aspetta, condividi schermo. Bella. Eccola, no? Vediamo se va in... Allora, perché non mi va in... No, ma l'avevo messa. Adesso. Perché Zoom blocca... No, Zoom ti blocca la condivisione. Ok. Sì, è un brutto.
Thank you, Guido. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm so happy to speak about artificial intelligence and also giving you a point of view from the companies that actually use artificial intelligence. And I always try to impress with a couple of things that I've studied, that I've done during my professional life, but actually everyone gets impressed by the fact that I have 5 kids. So I think that one of the reasons I need to update myself and get ready for the future, because I guess that my kids in a few years will use artificial intelligence a lot more than you do and I do. And I also believe that artificial intelligence is about communication. I've been working in communication and marketing industry for almost 20 years now. And I think AI has a lot to do with communication, but let's talk about this in a few minutes. I work at Arkage. I'm the CEO of Arkage, which is a communication agency. And the reason why I'm talking about artificial intelligence, even if I usually work in the communication industry, is very simple. Actually, this is the reason why we began to study artificial intelligence. Sam Altman, that you probably know, the CEO and founder of OpenAI, told a few weeks ago that AI will do 95% of what marketers use agencies, strategists, and creative professionals for today. So this is not only an opportunity, but it's also an existential threat for our companies. And what I mean by that is that we try to use artificial intelligence to actually augment our creative potential. So all of our 100 people in Italy use artificial intelligence to get more done and to do better the things that I used to do a few years ago. And also we were the first company in the communication company in Italy to actually adopt an AI manifesto. So we used AI based on 5 principles that we found are compatible with our values and with what we believe to do in our industry. We have some expertise in AI projects, so we actually work with these companies and most of our main clients using AI to actually deliver our products, communication products, marketing products. We do a lot of digital marketing, as you may expect, and we define ourselves a post-digital agency. It means that after COVID, you probably noticed that there's not really a boundary between offline communication and digital communication. We are doing a post-digital event now, actually, because some people are connected, some people are fortunately here physically. And we also did a lot of master classes. We try to explain and to interact with companies, saying how they could use artificial intelligence to get the best, the most out of this technology, and also improve their way of working. And we will, of course, we are here because we love AI, and Professor Guido Perboli just told you that it's been like 20 years talking about AI. 20 years ago, AI was not so sexy. Now we all talk about Gen AI, generative AI, which is more, I would say, it's easier to use, it's more interesting, and it's a lot more compatible with communication and marketing tasks. So that's the reason why we started to study AI well before the Gen AI trend came out, but also we studied a lot after ChatGPT came out in 2022. So what we are talking about now is only, I would say, 3 years old. So it's like a toddler. And oops. And the agenda today is to have some sort of like a scenario of what companies are using AI for, and especially in Italy. And some case studies that we had the luck to work on with some of the biggest companies in Italy, and also provide you with methods to implement AI within companies. About the scenario, I have a video here, so I guess I can just click, maybe. I think people that are online won't get the video.
Thinking about the evolution. Let me do the story of the predominantly and the legendary flexible legs. This tale perfectly captures what we wanted to convey, how fellowship had been part of family lives for generations, creating memories and even a local reference. We really have to really utilize any part of your memory. So we want to be beautiful village where every story and memory has a story. The challenge of capturing the story that we have in the life.
I think it's enough. The nice thing about this video is that not only the video is completely made with AI, but also the backstage is made with AI. So nothing that you just watch is actually real. And this was made by just one single creative, Laco, who is a friend of mine. And he worked for about 2 weeks to realize all the contents that you actually watched. Of course, this is not an official commercial by Porsche, but I would say it's pretty impressive that just one man can, and of course, maybe one woman, of course, could create this sort of video just with a, I would say, just very simple workflow based on prompts and the interactions with Google Veo 2, which is the platform that came out early this year. And now there's also Veo 3, which is a lot better. Basically, we are living in a simulation, I would say. The movie Hair was set in Los Angeles in 2025. I would say we are here. This scenario is here. I don't know who actually watched the video. Maybe you were too young in 2013. It's about the relationship between Theodore, which is this actor, and Samantha, which is an AI. And then something happens, but I won't just reveal the ending of the movie. The important thing, we are not talking about philosophy. I have a degree in philosophy, so I would like to talk about that maybe another time. But now we are talking not about the ability of the systems to replicate the human intelligence, but we are thinking about the capacity, the ability to generate infinite variations of plausible content, of content that appear to be real, but is not. And we have some news to share. Google says that actually they get 20% of their codes. And of course, Google, as you may know, is a tech company. So they create code, which is the intellectual property they created their empire on. And 20% of that code is generated by AI. And Dario Amodei, which is from Anthropic, say that by 2025, by the end of 2025, AI will generate between 90% and 100% of the codes for all companies. And we are also living in the third phase of artificial intelligence. We had predictive AI, then we had Gen AI, then now we have agentic AI. So actually AI that can plan tasks and actually do the work instead of letting humans do that work. And this is the trajectory that we have. We are here, we are at the beginning of the agentic AI, then we will see what happens with physical AI. But the good thing is that companies know that, and I wouldn't say it's just a good thing. It's interesting, but we will have some problems, of course. Tobias Lütke, which is the CEO of Shopify. Shopify is the biggest company creating e-commerce platforms, around 10,000 employees all over the world. They say that before asking for more headcount, so more people in teams and resources, teams must demonstrate why they cannot get what they want done using AI. So no more people if you can automate the tasks. And also Duolingo, that you probably know, just to learn languages. Maybe you're using it to learn Italian. The CEO declared, we will gradually stop using contractors, so basically suppliers as external companies, to do work that AI can handle. Headcount will only be given if a team cannot automate more of the work. So again, automation before hiring more people. And then we have McKinsey. And they say that they have an internal tool called Lily that saves consultants about 30% of their time. So the good question here would be, what do they do with 30% of their time? Actually, there's not a 30% because they're firing around 10% of their employees. Maybe AI could also wipe out roughly 50% of all entry-level white-collar jobs. So AI is taking after white-collar jobs. So not physical jobs, not what we expected that robotics will take, but white-collar jobs. So basically what we are working on. So that's our job. And there's a real advertising campaign this year of an American startup saying, stop hiring humans. That's what companies see every day. Of course, companies are reacting to this AI wave, which looks more like a tsunami. And they're doing all sorts of things. Of course, they're trying to maintain headcount, to protect jobs, and to invest in maintaining employee morality, because, of course, this is something which could impact employee morality, and also using AI to reduce headcount, which is not a good thing. And you are approaching the maybe your first job, some new companies, and you are approaching the job market in a very different situation from what I approached and maybe my colleagues approached. Basically, Goldman Sachs said, I think this is just for the headlines, so just leave it. AI to displace 300 million jobs. We have some more details now. This year, the World Economic Forum estimated 70 million new roles set to be created and 92 million displaced. Actually, there's a narrow here. It's 170 million, so it's a positive number. So it's 170 minus 92. And we know that in advanced economies, around 60% of all the tasks and activities have some kind of exposure to AI. Exposure means you either get substituted by the AI, which is not a good exposure, or maybe you get some sort of complementarity. So you mean you work along with AI to do the job to do. We have a research in 2023 by the University of Pennsylvania and University of New York. They try to analyze all the tasks, all the single tasks that they have in the US, and try to score the task based on the exposure to AI. So on the left, we have the most exposed jobs exposed to large language model, so AI capable of creating text and codes, of course, and we have telemarketers, we have all sorts of teachers, post-secondary, and also at universities, we have political scientists and so on. On the right, you get the most exposed jobs exposed to image generation models, so basically diffusion models, neural networks, and so on. And we have interior designers, art directors, astronomers, we have mechanical drafters. There's all sorts of jobs. We have physicists, we have desktop publisher, air traffic controllers. So basically, all kind of jobs have some kind of exposure to AI. And in Italy, we are talking about around 9 million people from a study by Bank of Italy, and 5 million out of 9 have some kind of benefit from being exposed to AI. It also means that 4 million out of 9 don't have any benefit from being exposed to AI. And Italy is a little bit lagging behind, as it usually happens, compared to the biggest European countries. But I would say the most important thing is that Italian companies are not doing enough to prepare the workforce to the wave of AI. Of course, we could obtain increased productivity, efficiency, improved capabilities. Of course, we could reduce human errors, but basically only 50% of the companies are doing some kind of teaching and education about AI inside the companies. And there are a lot of obstacles to get the AI work in the workplace. From ISTAT, Istituto Nazionale di Statistica, we have some information on how Italian companies are actually using AIs. They are doing lots of things, but basically they're doing some basic task with text. And of course, it's not only about text. We watch the video, and it's this kind of situation. Basically, it's the same like it was in the early 60s and 70s. We interacted with a computer, basically with a command line interface. So you had to actually type the actions that you wanted the computer to take. And now we are doing the same thing with AI. So the interface now is only text, but it will change in the future. And of course, it's not all about text, and it's not only about coding. It's about images, videos, and all sorts of things. And the revolution started only 3 years ago. November 2022, ChatGPT came out, and the real thing was that ChatGPT could let everyone interact with a machine just using natural language. And from a philosopher's perspective, it's very interesting, because basically you could enable a machine to do reasoning and to create things just talking with the machine. And anyway, large language models are state of the art in terms of artificial intelligence now. And they're not only a trend or maybe some technical things, but someone defined them as the fastest technology in terms of adoption in the history of humanity, and not a passing trend, but they will represent the backbone of the companies of the future. So basically, all companies will be based on some kind of large language model. Of course, when we talk about company and we talk about work, it always has to do with people, for better or worse. And we have some data from the MIT research 2023, and it was based on the actual capabilities of AI models back in 2023, that Gen AI could improve the productivity of an expert worker by up to 40%. Then we have some different point of view. Sam Altman from OpenAI declared during a conference, I was there listening to his words, and he said that their engineers have increased productivity by 30 to 40 times thanks to the use of AI. So it's not plus 50%, plus 40%. It's basically doing the job of 2 months just in 1 day. It's something really different. But how could you do that? Sam Altman said, we are living in an intelligence age. And here you study also about mobility, about maybe something that has to do with automotive. And OpenAI came out with this sort of equivalence between the autopilot and full self-driving, 5 level, and with AI. We are at level 3 of AI. First level, chatbots, 2022. You can interact with a conversational interface with an AI. Then last year came out the reasoning models. They could do problem solving at a human level. And now we have agents, systems that can actually take actions. We all know that we can do more with AI, but basically we don't know how to do more with AI. The research says that almost 50% of all the workers, they basically don't know how to use AI to increase productivity, efficiency, and to work in a better way. Basically, it's just one more tool. We have a lot of more tools and shiny objects to interact with, and we don't know how to use them. Then maybe something could help. And we created, based on data from Harvard Business School, that basically there are 3 ways that you can interact and work with AI. Let's see all of them. Where the center, we have the cyborg and we have the robot. The center way is probably the one that you are used to, where human and AI divide the work clearly in defined phases. So basically you create the text, you ask the AI to translate to another language, and then you get the text back, and that's it. Then there's the cyborg way, where human and AI interact constantly. And obviously, this makes very difficult to distinguish and to attribute the result to the one or the other. And then there's the robot approach, where basically AI does all the work, and it shouldn't surprise us. There are a lot of industries that basically try to automate lots of things. Let's talk about civil aviation. There are some maneuvers that actually take place without the pilot actually intervening and moving a finger. And also we know that employees are using AI in the workplace. And there's this phenomenon called shadow AI. So basically people are using AI in the workplace, but they don't say what to use, and they don't say what they do. And it's obviously a problem from a company's perspective. But maybe we could obtain something that is impossible for my experience, which is something better, cheaper, and faster. AI promises to reach this kind of nirvana, I would say. And some AI-based companies, which are already here, reached huge amounts of valuation in terms of a stock exchange and so on, which a lot less people than we expected to. Someone says that by the end of 2025, the first unicorn will come out. And unicorn, it means that a company which is valued above $1 billion, with just one employee. And I would say maybe in 2026, we will have a company with 0 employees valuing at more than 1 billion. Is artificial intelligence a new electricity? So is it a general purpose technology? Someone said about the electricity that when the Paris World's Fair is over, it was back in 1878, the electric light will go out and we'll never hear about it again. So don't listen to professors, if I can say, saying that AI maybe is just a trend not to stay. So artificial intelligence is like a general purpose technology, like the steam engine, the combustion engine, electricity, computer science, internet, and now there's AI. And it means as a general purpose technology that it's everywhere, it's innovative, and it grants continuous improvement. So it has a widespread adoption, universal applicability, gradual penetration, and it also is it has multiplier effects. So basically, when there's AI, there's a kind of multiplier that actually enhances the tool or the product. But it's not neutral, and Antonino, following me, will talk about the importance of the ethics and a kind of giving the direction of AI to use it for good and not for bad. Some case studies just to explain what we did as a company and what we helped companies for in the implementation of AI. This is the very first project that we had in AI back in 2018. So AI was not sexy. There was not ChatGPT, not Gen AI. Basically, we created the model that could replicate based on an image from a camera, a portrait done by with a ballpoint pen with a robotic arm. The important thing here is that basically it's not about the machine being intelligent, but actually replicating a human action. Then we did a little bit more in 2021. We actually cloned the voice of our very famous Italian actors, Matilda De Angelis, presenting Sanremo. If you're not from Italy, you have to watch Sanremo to understand how Italians actually reason. Not too much, just maybe one night is enough, but it's a very it's about pop culture, it's about Italian culture, so you have to do that. Anyway, Matilda, we cloned her voice, and we created more than 10,000 different stories with her voice. It was impossible to achieve just recording their real voice, so we created a very small AI model. Then we tried to experiment with Gen AI, creating the car of the future, and then an assistant for Santa Claus, for Carrefour, which is a brand very popular in Italy. Then we started creating all sorts of videos and experience with AI. And also for Fendi, and this is a nice thing to say, they banned the use of AI on their logos and their products. So we actually created a storytelling video, and more videos are coming, about the history of Fendi, which is the Italian very famous fashion brand, without actually making the AI interact with their products and their logos. And we did this in around 5 days with lots of different applications. Oh, you cannot see them, but here below, there are different applications that we use to actually create the video with 2 creatives. So 13 applications, 2 creatives. So basically, it was a team of 15, but 13 out of 15 were AIs actually, and not persons. Then we did some contents for Mercedes-Benz and for some more fashion brands. Then I'm approaching the end of my slides. How to approach technology. Of course, if you approach technology, don't start with technology, start with the people. People, training, assessment of the tools that are already used in the companies, and that's usually what we do. Then define your goals, your principles, and also the values for the use of AI in the company. Values are very, very important. You need to find the reason why you're using AI. It's just not a new shiny object, because it can be powerful, but it can also be very dangerous. Then you have the strategy, people, objective, and you have the strategy. You define use cases, guidelines, restrictions, or prohibitions. So you define whether you use AI or not, when you use AI, and when you do not use AI. And then finally, the technology, the tools. Maybe you can also develop new ones if you want. And we have a sort of checklist. So you start with training, you map the tools already used, you define company principles and values versus AI, and you define a sort of mission statement. So why you're using AI? That's the real question. Real questions always start with why. Define use cases for employees, because that's a very, this is a hurdle for adoption. So if people don't know how to use AI, but also they don't know when to use AI, they basically don't use AI, and that's it. So you have to define use cases, guidelines, and also explain any restrictions or prohibitions to not use AIs. And then, of course, enable appropriate tools. Again, technology is the last thing that you need to activate. And maybe also create the AI governance. We're not talking about the AI Act, as you may know, which is the European regulation for AI that is taking place and is kicking in August 2nd. And we developed this sort of methodology, which is called Bonsai. And it's all about internal training and communication. Of course, that's our perspective. And we firmly believe that before integrating AI into companies' processes, you need to start with internal training. So few companies are actually doing training, and also start with internal communication to explain whether to use AIs, when you use AI, and why. And then you constitute basically a small group, a manager capable of directing the group's priorities, and then taking at the same table operational figures, so people at the company that know what to do and how to do that very, very well, and experts of AI. You need both type of people at the same table, and you need to get them at the same table, because basically you get the processes from the people, and then you get the technology from people actually knowing that technology. And then this working group can interact with the rest of the company. Even informally, it's not about explaining what they're doing, but it's about trying to percolate what they find and what they know about AI, and sort of share with the rest of the companies. We would promote a glass box approach. It means that what happens inside the company needs to be very visible and very understandable. So basically, what happens within the working group needs to be understood outside, and everything that is discussed and decided in the working group needs to be accessible to the entire company and organization in very forms and very ways. So how it works? Almost there. No worry. How it works? Basically, you find the macro tasks. So based on the feedbacks, you find the tasks that you actually need to automate, or maybe the tasks that are more annoying to people, or maybe they're not efficient enough, and maybe some tasks that you want to be more productive doing. And then you find the micro tasks, but it's not enough. AI are not very good at automating macro tasks. With the macro tasks, I would say something that takes 1 week to do. You need smaller tasks. You need smaller chunks to automate. And you need to do task slicing. If anyone is familiar with the agile methodologies, this is basically dividing all the tasks in sprints and in small tasks, taking at most 2 hours to be done. Something that can be done in 2 hours by a person can be done maybe in a couple of minutes by an AI, or maybe also instantly. So you basically automate based on very, very small tasks. You do this distinction between micro task, which is something that you can work on, but you need micro tasks to automate with AI. And then you design a workflow. So it's not a prompt engineering thing. I wouldn't say that prompt engineering is the job of the future. Maybe workflow design is more interesting because you actually need to put one micro task after another and you get the whole workflow, which can take 1 month, 2 months, no matter. A macro task is always made by micro tasks. And then you do a real life experiment. So not just rolling out the new automation to all the company members, but trying to do an experiment and see what happens. And then you get feedbacks, of course, from the real life experiment. If it works, it's a go. If it doesn't work, it's a no-go. And then you can spread, if you can finally spread the new workflow to the company. That's what we are doing with a lot of companies in the Made in Italy industry. We work with the fashion industry, we work with the design industry, we work with the manufacturing. And the most important thing that we always understand staying with the companies is that people, they know the work, they know what to do and how to do that, but they basically they don't have the data, they don't have a very clear explanation on what they do, and they don't know what tool to use. So this methodology can help you bring the people at the table, people from the company, experts in AI, maybe you could be those experts, and then the magic happens. We usually start with a prompt coffee, which is a lean coffee methodology, basically trying to do in a 1 hour, maybe 2 hour workshop, this kind of experience. So you get the AI, you get the people, and then you use this micro task slicing methodology to apply AI to the real life task in a company. Thank you.
Okay, so due to the fact that Mr. Borriello has to leave us at a certain point because he has a meeting, if you have questions or curiosities, please post to him now.
About the kids?
Yeah. How to survive to 5 kids?
Yes.
Yes.
It's worse than AI.
That's for sure. You can use
Humans
AI.
are worse, yes. My wife won't be happy.
Yeah, I think so. Questions? No? Let's see if on the chat. No, I don't see any questions here. Okay. So it seems that you were too much clear. Thank you. Thank you, Pasquale. Okay, so now, okay, because today we started from the real experience. I asked Mr. Borriello, I asked Pasquale to come here because I wanted that someone who is not a professor would say to you what it means to use AI in a company. It's not a piece of cake, but it's something that properly used can help the company to achieve its goals and also to help the company to help other companies to achieve their goals. But now let's move to a higher level, because we need every time to look forward, to look over the horizon, because otherwise we will staple to the horizon that we see nearby us. How does the birds? You go high in the sky and you can see over the normal horizon that you might be able to see when you are on the terrain. Okay? So for that reason, I leave the floor to Professor Antonino Giannone. He has 30 years of managerial experiences, general manager of private and public companies, then senior manager, consultant, and professor in corporate strategy and professional ethics at Politecnico di Torino, in the master degree course in industrial production engineering and technological innovation. He is also professor, he has been also professor in private universities and civil and military training institutes. Since 2019, teaching fellow in leadership and AI ethics at ICELab. I mean, and I know very well being the director, president of Humanism and Ethics for the Digital Society, honorary member of the Academy of History of Earth Art, consultant of AI and ethics in the Social Health Forum. I can continue with the long list, but I mean, I think that the most important thing is that he's a passionate man that is still working for the well-being of the society. That's, I think, the most important thing. And I want to ask him to come here to start his lecture. That will be, as he said, the last one of that academic year. So there are still some years. Okay, now I'm trying to share the slides. Ok, give me 1 second. Ok, aspetta. Sì, aspetta. Devo visualizzazione, duplica, per così è meglio. Ok. Now, condividi schermo. Dov'è? Qua, no? Eccola qua. Condividi. Now I give the floor to Antonino. Sì. Ok. Sì. Thank you.
Bene, grazie, thank you very much. Right. Allora, my English is not very fluency for Guido. Dammi. Ci vuole forse la voce di più. Ah, ecco.
Una da parte e una dall'altra.
Benissimo. Ok. Technological is important. I'm a boomer, analogic man. It's different for digital people. Sorry, to now very problem in the future is this new possibility utilization of new technologies. I am engineer and I love technology, but I studied very in profundity artificial intelligence. And now I hope you explain AI and ethics. Is society moving towards a new humanism or transhumanism? This question is a question. And the answer is very difficult for you, for me, for all people. For the event in 2024, last year, and this question is actually, the book I give you is right in 2023. It's a book prophetic, the critical external, not for my opinion. Technology now in the world, Internet of Things, blockchain, nanotechnologies, robotics, metaverse, artificial intelligence. This is a scenario, no? But what are the consequences in the future in the utilization for these technologies? AI, the born is 1943. Why the alarm 80 years after 2023 about regulation for artificial intelligence in California, 30 May 23 is alarm and 300 expert scientists, and one of these experts is Geoffrey Hinton. Geoffrey Hinton is Premio Nobel, Physics Premio Nobel 2024, and Geoffrey Hinton, when winner in Physics 2024 said at the award ceremony, AI is moving very fast. Urgent regulation is needed. Humans in the next 30 years are in danger of being overtaken by superior general AI and becoming dependent on it, and AI will replace humans. But I hope this scenario is possible, not in negative, but it's important for the people as Geoffrey Hinton is a very genius, the network neuron artificial. Neuron artificial now is a very consistent to function about AI. No? In our cervelletto in Italian is SOR, we have 70 billion neuron human. You, I, and all people. The parameter about AI, the parameter for algorithm now is 1.8 trillion parameter. Okay? Why alarm in this sequence? Especially moment. Allora, this is history, but history you know about the progress possibility, no? Frank Rosenblatt, the inventor of multiplayer perception, is very important. 1966, the chatterbot Elisa, written, it's a lexical analyzer and set of scripted rules that allow you to simulate a conversation in English. Another important step is a neuromorphic chips. Deep Blue defeats the champions Gary Kasparov in chess. And also technology big data is important. Also now we have important people about implication for these technologies, because it's the first time in history of humanity technologies touch effective the think human. This is a question. In the past, this problem, it don't exist. Okay? Professor Benanti is an expert about the new term algorithmica is after I explain, but algorithm, it's possible etica. This is another question. Professor Floridi is an important expert Italian now settled in United States. This is my friend also. And a position to explain possibility to utilization AI as very well Mr. Borriello. I propose Mr. Borriello in this seminar because effective Arkage has a paper of principal value for utilization AI, but not every people now in the world, in the market, in this moment, no? What changed with AI? You study what is it, okay? What are the risks of AI? Why are rules important? Why are ethics needed? Definition 1956, machine capable of exhibiting behaviors that would be called intelligent if a human being were producing them. But it is a definition, but now the definition is very more complex. I register here a definition in the Act in 2024 is the regulation the Union European. This is a scheme, the neuron artificial. The problem important for your attention is as function AI is difficult. But in order to explain general, the machine, intelligent machine AI is as a computer, for example, no? You have the data in Arkage, you have an input, you have a process, and you have an output. But in past, we haven't 1 billion in data in Arkage. We haven't the process in more little second and possibility to process more data. And we have in internal machine, you have the technical software particularly complex, and you have a machine learning, you have deep learning, but it is not a lesson now for about this question technical, you possibility to examine, no? Mr. Perboli is an expert in internal machine, no? It's not this question, but as possibility to output when the project put the algorithm, you can to give a direction. Allora, the appeal alarm is May 30, 2023. Mitigating the risk of AI-induced extinction should be a global priority alongside other society risks such as pandemics and nuclear war. When I write the book with Mr. Perboli, Valeria Lazzaroli, President ENIA, Professor Livolsi, a big important financial in Italy, and Monsignor Fusco, we don't hope effective success about this question, because now every people discuss about the possibility, the damage about intelligence artificial. But it's important to explain the utilization, intelligent utilization for new technologies. Why this alarm? When the ChatGPT, the first in 2018, ChatGPT 1 million data in Arkage. The second, 10 million, and other machine, 10 other 100 million, also 1,000 million. But when you read here this scheme, the reply the machine in the first is correct. When you read in this scheme, the reply is not in line, no, but the other. But the other also when we arrived at ChatGPT 4. And the expert, the AI, is a problem because it's possible not control for a new machine in ChatGPT 5. This is a data, 30 May 23. This day is important in memory because immediately in every word, the political, the government, to explain in other conference for the fixed the regulation, because the question is now, no? The generative and which is the problem, the generative. I think you certainly utilization, you utilize the generative ChatGPT in your smartphone. But if the problem, not you and me, the problem is a new generation, the 6th, 7th year now, with the smartphone for the future in 50 years, without critical. It is a question. The future of humanity, it serves to utilization with the intelligence, explain, ChatGPT and other. Geoffrey Hinton, Nobel Physics 20, AI could destroy humanity within 30 years. And Geoffrey Hinton is a very father for AI now. Non-Matheson Turing, no. The network neuron artificial, this is a very father. Geoffrey Hinton. Say research is advancing too fast, we risk losing control of it. Geoffrey Hinton highlighted the extraordinary progress on the subject of AI, but also provide a reminder of the ability to stop and wait. It's a recognition of the value of critical thinking, the highest goal of all human experience. My opinion is also ethics. It's always the man who decides how to use technological tool. In the past, every technological, we have utilization technology, and all the basis decision, there is the handler that acts at the link between the man and the tool, neutral in the self that the man uses. But ethics is a compass to orient action for the goal. I think for you, the ethics is a very important compass for life. And Director Saracco, in academic year 2021-2022, he said, men will have to rediscover humanism and ethics alongside the use of technologies. When I've been in Harvard in mission, Mr. Perboli, in this time, I visited Harvard in J. Safra Center, Business and Ethics. And I returned in Italy, explained Mr. Saracco, in order possibility to create the new center in Politecnico of Turin, and to explain philosophy and engineering. And this is an important choice. And 3 years ago, we now to have the philosophy in engineering, because Mr. Saracco, 30,000 new experts will be needed to the green economy. But we have humanist engineer, humanist doctor, humanist accountant, humanist lawyer, because now this is a problem. The problem in humanity now is without humanism. Not my opinion. This is the problem. Every day you read the newspaper or you read in social network. And the problem in question for the future is to examine in profundity this problem. Call for an AI, also big company, IBM, Microsoft, FAO, Minister of Innovation, begin a document designed to support an ethical approach to AI. Now, Arkage is a society, this scheme follow. Also, Pope Francis, with a dedicated recognizing the contribution of the cultural riches of a people and religion in regulation of artificial intelligence is fundamental to the success of your commitment to the careful management. Allora, ethical design is possible. We are the future, you are engineer. When you design a construction, you put science of construction, but in this block, in this house, live the people. It's important the ethical conception, the project. This is a question. Also, this question is with the AI. Will design take into account the ethical principle of respect for the person and his dignity or not? Will define the sequence of operation algorithm, which allow to resolve all questions of the same class, be done with ethical principle? Algoretica is a new term. Mr. Bananti explain about possibility. It's possible algorithm to respect the value or not. The question is open. Many people told it's not possible. Other people, this is possible. But the choice depends the stakeholder in order effective power of this AI. The person has the right, because a question for the in all part of the world, the people has work, fair wage, family, freedom, use of material good, property, instruction, religious life, participation. This is diritti umani, no? Allora, ethical responsibility signifies to respect person and dignity. This Papa Francesco explained this question in G7 in 2023, but not only Papa Francesco. This is a question natural to respect the dignity of the person, no? Not necessarily is a religion. It's possible for all people. How to protect people from misuse of this technology? What will happen when aerobotics and genetic engineering will be at the service of the pursuit of immortality and happiness? This is a question for the future for you. I don't live in the future as what you, but this is as a question now for the reflection. What change? Change is possible for us here. I general manager in company, many changes important, but also in a company in healthcare. The first cardiologic automatic telematic in 1999, the first with a Hewlett Packard Agilent technologies. You read in internet, it's effective. But after in Italy, telemedicine not authorization in system health, and when we have COVID, many problems without this possibility. But this is another question, not for this lesson, no? Now, a problem aesthetic in the world is the power of single in this room. The man with the smartphone is in every part of the world. But we are now here, Politecnico di Torino. But this is possible to us present in every part of the world. This is a power especially for the human, young human, and isolation. And this is a question. The people thinks man equal God. This is a philosophy now, a philosophy. Allora, the man want in the future new humans. My book is Humanism, Digital Humans, no? And other question. Or transhumanism. I don't know if your choice, because you decide your future. Should design develop algorithms that respect ethical constraints in their design? For your future, this is a question, because you are an engineer in the future. Engineer, not necessary engineer for AI, also AI. We are moving toward the construction of a new humanity toward an ecosystem in which man will be on the margin. What will happen if citizen surveillance is carried out on all behavior with sanction of deprivation of space of freedom? This is a question in other countries, for example, in China. And this question exists. But the people accept this political effective, no? Is society moving towards a fully human with the other people, Floridi, Benanti, Paglia, other, Perboli, many other, transforming the world through AI innovation means committing to building a future with the younger generation. This commitment must translate into a commitment to education, developing specific programs that delve into different disciplines, from the humanities to science to technology, to educate to younger generation. And for Italian people, I remember this political martyr for the political Italian. Today we must live. Today is our responsibility. It's about living the time we are given to live with all its difficulties. I know this person. I hope that many young university students, Catholic and non-Catholic, will take the path of becoming engineer and the technician of digital technologies, AI and algorithms. Many experts in cyber humanism will be needed. Your commitment will be precious. For those, you will work on the design of an AI. For those who will carry out all the responsibility. And I could also conclude here happy to have left a positive mark on you. The student of the Politecnico of Turin, in 50 years of teaching and on thousands of people from the different social environment who have met me. To you in person and at distance, I wish a good long journey towards the change of epoch that due to my age, I will not be able to experience. I wish everyone to work for a whole human future. I wish everyone to work for a better, good future. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Antonino. So first of all, you have questions, curiosities? You know, I mean, no, that's just my opinion. We are talking about a lot about the ethics of AI, algorithmica, and other stuff like that. But can we really define the ethics of an algorithm? I mean that sometimes, and this is quite typical of technical people, we try to make something by design. But the design is by humans, in the sense that is the human ethics. So the first thing that you have to think is what you do. I mean, and this is not algorithm. I mean, it can be applied to anything. If you think to Nobel, he created a powerful weapon but he never wanted to make a weapon. He wanted to make something that such that people was able not to die inside where they were doing mining, because at that time a lot of people were dying just because before dynamites, I mean, what was used before was quite unstable. If you, I don't know how many of you saw the movie by Sergio Leone, no? And there was that guy with those small bottles of liquid that were totally unstable, and he was the only one able to throw without exploding. So now it's Giulia Testa, and that was the idea. But then it was used for making bombs for war. He never wanted to do that. But he made money by that. And so he created the Nobel Prize later because he had no family. So, so humans are responsible of everything. I mean, and that's the point, you know, of putting again the human at the center. It's not just a matter of thinking to people, but letting the people to think is the contrary. And you mentioned China. I was with some members of, I mean, some people that are nearby the government of China a couple of days ago. And you know what? I discovered that China government is paying some known economists to compute or to try to forecast the impact of AI on labor market, in particular for low labor people. So the people that are working on the lower levels. Why? From let's say, it's something which is inside the Asian way of thinking, because otherwise society will be not strong as it is now. The group is not strong, because if I have 1 million of people that will lose their job, and I don't think now the society will be not strong again. I mean, because that's the point. For them, you know, there is not the individual, there is the community. This is typical of Asia. You can see also in the regulations. Also for that reason, I mean, they accept not just in China to be more under control. Because if it's for the good of everyone, they accept to lose something, which is totally the contrary of Europe and US, by the way. It's quite funny when you discuss no, and you see how much the social behaviors no are affecting, but they are already thinking to that. We are not. We are waiting for the disaster. That's it. I'm sorry, but we are waiting for the disaster. Well, not because there will be a disaster, because if you don't think to the effects of what you do, the disaster is coming for sure, because when you see the problem, will be too late. And I'm sorry for some of our politicians. They think that if they act and they do something bad, it's bad for them, so they do nothing. Not doing is a decision. I'm sorry. If you decide not to act, is as if you act. I mean, everything has an effect. Even if we just see what happens and we wait. It's good? I don't know. For me, no. I mean, I'm the type of person that, I mean, prefer to know what will happen, even if it's bad, because I want to have the right to decide what to do in my life. That's a general stuff. But that will be a big problem that you will have to face. Not Antonino, not me, I'm sorry. I mean, even me, but even Pasquale probably is on the border, because those types of changes are slow. AI is fast. Human being is not fast.
I would like to add the consideration from Bernard Barr. Mr. Baker will give you my relation in we'll have this paper. We do not want to be completely dependent on artificial intelligence in the future, because what would happen if the next virus wasn't the coronavirus, but rather a huge computer virus capable of destroying or blocking all our computer system? Bernard Mar, this is a question, Mr. Pepoli. You read this, my relation for you, che tu potrai dare. I hope I religion, now posso dirlo, no? In my lesson, I like absolutely, no? It's important, no? But this is the last lesson, it's normal. I have the preference, but many years, I haven't many years for the future. I prepared my future, I don't know. But Pope Leo XIV, in his presentation, said he would write the first encyclical on AI. This is an important document in the future, and I hope with my friend Mr. Pepoli, with our contribution, Leo XIV.
You perhaps,
Va bene. Grazie comunque.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for who was online. I'm stopping the. Okay, do you have some questions from the audience? No. Okay, so thank you to everybody. I'm just sorry. I'm just stopping the record. Okay. Okay. Now